Hey, good afternoon, Raven County. It's Roger Glenn with Poss Realty. Today we're coming to you from Mama G's, but we're not talking about Mama G's, although that's some great Italian food if you haven't tried it, just on the south side of Clayton. You should stop in. But we're actually here with Chuck Taylor, who's the Outreach and Advocacy Coordinator for Northeast Georgia CASA. Now, Chuck, me being a military guy, I love acronyms. But for the rest of the normal human beings out there, will you tell them what Northeast Georgia CASA stands for?
Court-appointed Special Advocates for Children.
Yes. And tell us a little bit about the organization and the program.
And CASA is a brand of lay guardian ad litem. They're volunteers from all walks of life that have stepped forward to advocate for a child that's in foster care. So in a system where we have attorneys with enormous caseloads, defects case managers with enormous caseloads, judges with enormous caseloads, we have the volunteers that are empowered by the court to investigate a child's situation and report that to the judge so that he or she can make more informed decisions.
Absolutely. And how much training or background or qualifications do you have to have before you participate in the program?
We use a National CASA certified curriculum that's across the nation. It's 30 hours of classroom time, some significant more reading, and then 10 hours of courtroom observation before a judge can swear them in as a court-appointed special advocate.
Yeah, absolutely. And how broad of an area is the Northeast Georgia CASA?
We serve 8 counties from Raven to Elbert and Oglethorpe at the southernmost tip, Stevens and Franklin. And that means about 400 children a year will pass through our service area in foster care.
Yep. And you're currently looking for advocates for some of those children that are in foster care.
Yes, we would love, there's nothing we would love more than to have an advocate for every child that came into the care of the state of Georgia in Raven County and our service area.
Yep, absolutely.
So we need a lot more volunteers.
All right, so Raven County folks, if you've got friends in the surrounding counties that Chuck talked about, feel free to share this video with them through the link that we have. So, Chuck, I'm going to ask you to introduce 3 special advocates that are here with us today that have been participating in the program a little bit.
Well, another military man, though from the branch of the Army, we won't hold that against him. We have honorary board member Tom Randall, and Tom Randall, you've been with CASA longer than I have, serving in some capacity.
I've been a volunteer for 10 years.
And then we have some folks that are newer to advocacy. We have Doug and Karen Conkle, husband-wife super team, to go out and advocate for children.
No pressure there. Doug and Karen, I'll start with you. What's your experience with the program been like? Why'd you get into doing this? And what would you like to share with others?
Okay. Well, I retired officially about 5 years ago, and you could just do so much golf and fishing here in Northeast Georgia. But actually, it was interesting. We was meeting Chuck on the golf course, and we walked 9 holes together. And by the end of the 9th hole, he had convinced me I needed to be a CASA volunteer. And I guess I was already halfway convinced, but he is very persuasive. But it's been a wonderful opportunity. In fact, the very first case that Karen and I were assigned to was a family, children here in Raven County. And we thank the Lord that after 7 months of court hearings and dealing with the family and the mom and whatnot, that the children were reunited with the family. And that was, I say, we're batting 1,000. That's our very first case. I know that's not always the case, right, Chuck?
Unfortunately,
yeah.
Karen, what about you?
Oh, I've enjoyed this so much. I think that when you retire, you have to think about the time that you have. And I just don't like to waste time.
I'm getting to volunteer.
Write your own paycheck.
Exactly.
Tom, how about you? A little bit about your experience with the organization and what you do. And we're just going to ignore
Without Marine Corps,
these negative comments about the Army.
When we moved up here from Sarasota, Florida in 2008 and then full-time in 2010, I was looking for some volunteer work. I was working for myself. I had some time to do things. If you back up to 1970, I have a half-brother who was taken away from his father, my stepdad, and put into foster care. And I had some negative experience with DFACS in Jacksonville, Florida, and it just ate at me all these years. So when I found out about it, I met with Melissa and talked to her about it and tried to find out what the need was. So here we are 10 plus years later. I think I've helped 18 or 19 children. Of course, the case I'm on now was 5 siblings in one family. Mm-hmm. And in order to keep them together, we had to put them in a group home in Thomasville, Georgia. If you know Georgia, from Clayton to Thomasville is as far away as you can physically be and still be in the same state. 4 of those children were adopted. The 5th one I'm still working with. He's in a different foster home now, in a different city, but it's still about a 175-mile drive every time I go to visit him. And as he's alluded to, we are volunteers. We don't get reimbursed for our fuel or motel bills and meals. We're on the road. So I've had this one little guy now for 5 plus years, and he's had 3 or 4 different case managers in that time, and he's been in 4 foster homes. So the case manager pointed out to me at a breakfast meeting recently that the only constant in his life is me.
Yeah.
I'm the only thing he's had that's been consistent for the last 5 plus years. So yeah, he's about 13 now, 12 or 13. I've had him for 5 years. He was a little kid like that, and his siblings. So
Knuckles for that.
if I ever get this one into some kind of a permanent, safe, loving home, I'll probably step down. The normal, he didn't say it, but he can correct me if I'm wrong, the normal burnout for a CASA is about 4.5 years.
Oh my.
Because emotionally, you can't last much longer than that, dealing with what we see and the condition of the homes and the families that they come from. I have had a few that I was able to get reconciled with, but most of them, the majority of mine have been termination of parental rights, and the people lose their kids. So just think about this, and this is a husband and a wife that lost 5 children at once.
Yeah.
So, and then the turnover with the state, and he's correct. The state has an enormously important role to play, and they're not very appreciated by some of us, not me personally, but CASAs in general. And there's an animosity between the state and us. We're volunteers, they're the professionals, they're paid, but they've got 30 cases to my 1.
Mm-hmm.
And they're furloughed, and there's budget cuts, and it's just not a good mix. It's an inefficient thing, and it's not just Georgia, that's state, that's probably nationwide. But the program itself has been around 25 or 30 years. Started in Seattle, Washington, because a judge saw the need to have his eyes or her eyes in the community, and he wanted an independent, unbiased opinion, and they invented this program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in Georgia, we're court-appointed special advocates. In Florida, they would be called guardian ad litem.
Right.
So we use the terms interchangeable, but in Georgia, the law is the guardian ad litem has to be an attorney. CASA is a volunteer.
Lay guardian.
Lay guardian.
Yeah. So this is a great example, really, of public-private sector cooperation. And on the burnout, Ravenites, are committed people, and so I used to say in the military that resilience is a measure of commitment, and so the commitment of the individual, and it's very commendable. So Chuck, I'm going to get, in the interest of time, to the key thing. If you're interested in learning more about the program, or have already decided that you want to sign up, how do you go about doing that? And we'll link anything that you say to the video.
All right, and I will send you some graphics, but to visit our website, northeastgeorgiacasa.org. Just Google Northeast Georgia CASA, and you will find us. Visit us on Facebook, and if you like to give people a call and talk to me, you can call me anytime. It's 706-886-1098, or email me directly, chuck.taylor@northeastgacasa.org, and we can put that all into some fancy graphics for the folks at home, so they can give us a call. And I will say this about the core of volunteers in Northeast Georgia CASA. It's a superb group of humans. I mean, we have a lot of retired professionals in our ranks. We have a pretty good cultural diverse group, but they all care immensely for children, and they bring a lot of energy to our child welfare system in Raven and the Mountain and Northern Judicial Circuit.
Yeah.
So, and I thank you for having us get a little blurb. I hope some folks at home will definitely decide, hey, that's something I would like to learn more about.
Do it, just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Give it a try. I like it. Doug, Karen, Tom, thank you very much for participating today,
Thank you.
for your
Yeah.
service, and give back to the community. I know it makes a difference in the lives of those children, even if they don't necessarily end up well placed. To your point, Tom, about continuity, you've made a difference in that child's life without a doubt. And Chuck, thanks for setting this up and for doing what you're doing from a leadership standpoint to, again, give back to the community.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And now it's a little bit of tradition of ours. We always ask that you wave.
All right.
And say, we'll see you next time, Reagan County.
See you next time, Reagan County.
My favorite part. I love it.